Hello folks, and welcome to another episode of Technicational. My name is Peyton Wilmot, and today we'll be looking at IOT, that is Internet of Things. And a lot of people might not know what this is. It is a platform, a dream that most companies are trying to achieve by 2020. And to be honest, a lot of you might have devices that are IoT compatible already and don't even know. Now, to clarify this, we are going to be doing a Skype call with a Samsung representative, and we're going to be discussing what Samsung is doing for their devices and products to push this dream forward for 2020. So without further ado, let's find out what this IoT is about and what it's capable of doing, and hear what Samsung has in store for us for 2020. Yes, good day. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am pretty interested in this topic and how it's going to affect our region. So I just have five questions.
Sounds great. Let's start.
Okay, so for the general public, could you just break it down into a simple form? What is IoT, or Internet of Things?
Perfect, and I'm glad that you started with that question because in general, this is still a fairly new subject for many people. So, in simple terms, it is a network of devices which are connected to a data center that stores and shares information that enables people to do new things or to solve problems. So let's discuss concrete examples to make this from abstract to concrete. Let's think of cars. Under the concept of IoT, you would have a car that is connected via Wi-Fi to a data center that would enable drivers to get updated traffic information, weather reports, or other information. And at the same time, it can help city planners who receive the information from all these moving cars with IoT better study traffic patterns as to plan construction of roads. So that's one example. Or let's think about your refrigerator. A fridge that is enabled with Wi-Fi, with the IoT concept, will let you be at the supermarket and see with your cell phone the contents of your fridge and decide what you purchase for home. Perhaps you forgot to make a list before you left the house. Okay. Or it can also use voice control via Bixby, which is our new voice assistant technology from Samsung, to make your everyday tasks easier. For example, you can ask your refrigerator, or Bixby in your refrigerator, "Hey Bixby, what can I make for dinner tonight?" And she will look into your fridge, see what you have stored in there, and say, "Here are a few recipe suggestions for you." So this opens endless possibilities of how to personalize your interaction with different devices, and also how your everyday use of them will share this data to a data center that then can be analyzed and figured out to see how we can bring new solutions to problems in society. It also has a different feature that can help people with, let's say, visual impairment disabilities have better access to different devices. With the example of the fridge that we just looked at, it is one of them, and there are many other possibilities.
Okay.
Well, did that make it clear? So it's devices that connected via Wi-Fi to data centers can share information for users to make their daily lives easier, but also for people who study different problems to get more nuanced understanding of the day-to-day of those problems and come up with solutions.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, the second question is what are the steps Samsung as a company is doing to make IoT possible right now?
Great, we're doing many things. The first thing is that everything that we do is coming from a commitment that the company Samsung Electronics made for making all of Samsung connected devices intelligent by 2020. So from that commitment, we have many things going on. One of them is that in order for people to actually have access to this Internet of Things technology, you first need to have infrastructure in your countries for this to happen. We talked about data sharing, right? That means Wi-Fi broadband needs to be available for this fast data sharing. You also need investment, etc. So Samsung is part of the international committees we're looking into the investment in infrastructure in different markets to go from the current 4th generation broadband to the 5th generation broadband, which in the daily life when we go, to buy our phones and to a carrier, they talk to us about 4G or 5G.
Yeah.
This is what that is, 4th generation or 5th generation broadband for all the data sharing. So Samsung made a commitment to have all of the connected devices with IoT by 2020. We're sitting in the international committees that are studying how we're going to make the infrastructure available for this to become a reality in different moments for different countries. We're also part of committees who are studying how we're going to protect the privacy of users with all this data sharing, and also developing technologies such as Samsung Knox, which is a security software that was initially developed for business use with cell phones to make sure that all the conversations were protected, and now we're expanding that same software to all of our devices that are connected to IoT. So those are 3 concrete examples of what we're doing. And basically, in terms of research and development, we are studying how all of your household devices can be interconnected for your daily life to be easier, but also to be part of this larger commitment to IoT.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now, this is the thing that is a reality right now. Now, Samsung is a big company, and there are a lot of devices that a lot of people in our region is using. But we're not using Samsung only. Is there anything in place for persons who are not using Samsung devices, but they do have Samsung appliances to integrate with other brands so that everything works seamlessly?
At the moment, we're focusing on developing that seamless connection that you just mentioned among our devices. That's our first commitment, because that's where we can control directly. In order for that to happen with other devices, we first have to have the commitment of those companies to make sure that they enable the devices to be connected. So we are not closing our doors for that to happen, but first we want to make sure that what we can control works perfectly, and then we can open to see how we have to collaborate with other companies to do that. With some of the devices, you already can do it. For example, we have made available certain apps that, for example, if you have an air conditioner that has Wi-Fi and you want to use a remote control for it, you can use your Samsung phone, download the app, and then use it as a remote control for a different device. So there are a few things that are made available, but for the bigger picture of complete seamless experience, we'll need a little bit more time to integrate with other brands.
Okay, all right. Now, my 5th and last question. What is the greatest challenge Samsung is having right now to make our region fully IoT by 2020?
And by our region, I'm thinking we're talking not only the Caribbean, but also the rest of the Latin American continent, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's basically the infrastructure that we talked about. We need countries to get on board with doing the investment to move towards the 5G broadband in order for this to become a reality in all the countries. So many of Latin American countries are at 75 to 80% adoption of the previous generation, the 4G. So they're still completing that process before going to 5G. So that would be our biggest challenge, which we are already tackling by being part of these international committees where all the countries are represented, to understand when they will be ready to make investments, so that when that happens, Samsung is there to support them in the process. Also, we act as advisors to many counselors in different government institutions who are studying what legal frameworks they need to establish in their countries in order to implement IoT. So we have been approached by many just to get our perspective as a company of what could these legal frameworks look like, and sharing our expertise in that subject for them to make their decisions.
Okay, thank you so much. Those were actually the questions that a lot of people are asking and wanted to know about, and you answered it perfectly. So
you're very welcome. Thank you for giving us the time.
No problem. So I hope to hear more about this in the future and see things actually move forward by 2020 to see what
it's around the corner, so
to see the real possibilities of IoT. Okay, thank you again. My name is
Bye.
Peyton.
Have a good day.
Snakes in the grass, you gotta watch where you step. Blood on the leaves, you either kill or be killed. When there's food on the table, you either eat or you starve. And when there's sharks in the water, you either sink or you swim. It's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there.